back. It is Smilin Aislinn here. I just want to say I am still so happy that you guys want to hear more of this like vlog, personal video type content. That makes me so happy because I love making this. So this week is going to be some Q&A. I have gathered a bunch of questions from you guys from YouTube and Instagram and my live streams, and I have compiled them all together, and there are some really good ones, some interesting ones, but some really well thought out ones as well. So I'm excited for you guys to get to know me a little bit more this week. I am also cat sitting for my aunt and uncle right now. You can see I have cat food in a litter box, and I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this on camera, but Abby is actually like hiding behind the TV right there. I don't know if you can see. Is that an Abby? Hi there, girl. Thanks for joining me. But they're adorable, and honestly, it's like kind of making me want to get a cat. Even though they're kind of shy. So I'd want a cat that wasn't as shy, but I kind of want a little fur baby. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe, leave a like rating, and leave a comment. Every single engagement you leave with this video helps the video do better, and it makes YouTube happy. All right, let's dive in. I have a whole bunch in front of me. First question we have is hobbies. What are my hobbies? Well, I always grew up dancing. I'm kind of that person who like doesn't give myself a lot of time off, so I don't really have a ton of time for hobbies, though I love playing video games. I mean, you guys, lots of you pointed out that I have the Switch in the background. I love playing on my Switch as like a, you know, relaxation, decompress. Favorite games are Breath of the Wild, Animal Crossing. I also recently just downloaded Just Dance. Love it. I also have my time at Portia because it was on sale, and I also just downloaded Sword Art Online, which, fun fact, is my favorite anime, but I only just started the game, so like I have no comments on whether I like the Nintendo game or not. So gaming's one of them. I also really like doing things like with my hands. I've always really enjoyed painting, and I actually really like cross-stitching and knitting and crocheting, like old lady things. But other than that, I mean, really, I have tried to make my job be what I enjoy doing. So like my hobbies are working. It's not a healthy statement. Okay, favorite places to shop. So I don't really have like certain stores that I absolutely go to because the stores that I do frequent, I don't necessarily agree with. Like, I really do love all of the options mixed with the prices of like H&M and Zara, but I also morally like can't support the fast fashion, but also my wallet like can't afford to support more than that. But if H&M and Zara could change the fact that they are fast fashion, then Zara would definitely be my favorite. Favorite shows, books, movies. Okay, well, first of all, I am definitely more of a nerdy, geeky type. Like, I love Harry Potter. I love it so much. Very saddened by J.K. Rowling. Like, don't even know what to do with her, to be completely honest, because I'm still so in love with the franchise. I am trying to like mentally separate her from her creation in my head because I just can't. No, you don't get to invalidate trans people, specifically trans women, and still get my support. That's not, we don't do that here. We are very Alphabet Mafia friendly. Unfortunately, J.K. Rowling has let me down. I'm still a huge Potterhead fan, though. The other movies and franchises, I am a huge Marvel fan, specifically the MCU, so like the cinematic universe. Not a huge DC fan, definitely prefer the Marvel side, but that is also, I think, mostly because I think that the Marvel cinematic universe has done a much better job in creating an immersive environment and universe that fans can then be fully submerged in and has continuity between. And I also just don't like the DC movies, other than Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's fantastic, and I cosplayed her once for Halloween. I also love reading. Haven't had as much time to do it since I've like grown up, become an adult, but my all-time favorite book is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, which I am not saying that correctly, and I'm really sorry, but it is this one right here. favorite book. But other than that, I really enjoy fantasy and sci-fi novels. Like The Name of the Wind is fantastic. I'm currently reading the Foundation series. Honestly, there are just so many. I could just like keep going. Like I love talking about movies, books, and shows. But let's see, some of my favorite shows. Best show I have ever seen on the top of my list right now is Dark on Netflix. It is a German sci-fi show that will basically confuse the hell out of you the entire time you're watching it. It is so good. Also Westworld, also all of Star Wars, also I love anything Christopher Nolan. I could really just keep going. I'm gonna cut it off there because I like haven't even really moved on from my third question. So let's keep going. How have other cultures you've seen differed from your home one? Well, honestly, I mean, I could even talk about just the cultural difference from when I moved from small town New Hampshire to San Francisco for college. That was a culture shock, especially seeing Silicon Valley. That was wow. I never knew how many people could all be in one place that have more money than they know what to do with. It's a very strange experience. From that, learned that I am definitely more of a city person. Now, cultural differences, like compared to places like in East Asia, I've been to Italy when I was a lot younger. There's a lot more traveling I want to do, to be completely honest, but I love East Asia. Like my number one travel destination right now is Japan. I've never even been, but I like constantly watch travel videos about it, and I find their culture fascinating because of the level of like respect that's built into their culture. I just find the level of like respect and cleanliness to be fascinating. Like in Japan, it's kind of frowned upon to eat and drink while you're walking on the sidewalk because it would most likely lead to more litter. So it's custom to instead like find a trash can, you know, quickly eat and drink right next to it so you can toss it out and then keep walking because their cities are so clean, so clean. I think it's incredibly important to travel and experience other cultures so that you have a better, more worldly perspective from where people might be coming, because the internet has interconnected us so much. Like someone might be saying something with a very specific context in mind that you are not aware of, and then you interpret it totally differently. It's wild. It's wild. Let's keep going. If I keep answering them at this rate, I'm never gonna get through. Growing up, who was your biggest hero in life and TV hero? Okay, so growing up, I think first like TV hero, if we're talking like superheroes, first one that I was really into movie-wise was definitely Iron Man, the original Iron Man movie from Marvel. Fan of those bring me nostalgia. My biggest real life hero, honestly, there were so many like mini ones that like presented different aspirations throughout for different reasons, but I was never the person who had like that one individual that I would like have a poster of or anything like that. Growing up, I grew up in the classical ballet world. I would look at anyone, any dancer who was in a professional dance company who was like a soloist or higher. I would look up to them with like doe eyes, just stars, but no specific individual person. Let's see, what kind of makeup products do they use at photo shoots you have worked on? All kinds. This is the one thing I have learned in the modeling industry. There is no like industry secret one way to do things. Every single makeup artist and stylist has their own way of doing it. They have their own products. I've seen people who have, you know, they just have a series of the different like bottles of like one kind of foundation. I've also seen where they will have a palette of, it basically looks like a pill container where you open it up, has all of these little mini compartments of like more concentrated foundation, and they will literally take like a clear piece of plastic and one of those blenders that you use for like acrylics and take little bits of each little slightly different shade and mix together to match my skin. Like it ranges from they have all the shades of one brand to an entire makeup bag of just foundation. Like It is insane. They use so many different products. There is no consistency across the industry. Some people use brushes, some people use sponge, some people use fingers, there is nothing consistent. Do they prep your skin in any specific way? Yes, they always prep my skin, but again, it's the same where like every single person, every single makeup artist will have a different way of prepping skin. Now, I always prep my skin in the same way before going to a photo shoot of just making sure to cleanse my skin, do a light exfoliant, and then a moisturizer and a sunscreen, and that's it. That's all I do before I go to a photo shoot. And then what is my skincare regimen? This is a whole, honestly, I should make an entire video about this. I won't go into my entire skincare regimen, though it is extensive. I will just say that my favorite brand is absolutely Dermalogica. I actually have very, very sensitive skin and struggled with acne like my entire life. I mean, I'm still kind of right now with maskne is so real, but like I have a lot of little outbreaks right now. Dermalogica is amazing. I love them so much. This one's my favorite. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? I love the phrase. Okay, so do we want one duck that is so big it is the size of a horse? Fight that. Or 100 horses that are just the size of ducks? Honestly, like, have you seen ducks? Have you seen, there's a video out there of a goose, and I know that's different. Geese and ducks are different, but still same aggression here, same level of aggression. There was a goose that got stuck in a tiger pen in the zoo, and the goose scared the tigers away. I am going to be picking the 100 duck-sized horses. Thank you very much. I do not want to face a horse-sized duck. Terrifying. All right, let's move on. What made you start LIVIT? Okay, so LIVIT is the live streaming platform that I stream on pretty much daily, and I've been doing it for almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years and end of July. So what made me start was I'd actually never really been interested in live streaming ever. I mean, like, I knew it was, I knew what Twitch was, I knew that there was streaming on Instagram, on TikTok, like that kind of stuff. But I'd never been interested in being like a career streamer. But what had happened was I met this girl who was a photographer's assistant on a photo shoot that I did. And she was a streamer on LIVIT back when it had first started out, and it was actually called Live AF at the time. LIVIT was doing a promotion where basically any streamer who brought in a new streamer would get a bonus. So she was referring as many people as she could. She reached out to me and said, hey, like, I know we met on that photo shoot. You have a great personality. I think you would be great at streaming. Why don't you try? And so I did, and it blew up like right away. It was insane. So thank you, ALE Dream. She's streaming on Twitch now. She's the one who started my career on LIVIT. When was the first time you were verified on LIVIT? Do you remember the day? Yes. So verified on LIVIT is basically just getting a contract because they contract their streamers. Not all of them, but if you are serious on there, you have a contract. And I do remember the day. My first stream was after the first day of a 2-day bridal photo shoot for like this bridal collection. And so I came back and, you know, because I had my makeup done and everything. I was like, oh, I'll just hop on stream. Why not? I set up with my phone on the AC unit in the one window in our tiny apartment and like sat backwards on the couch and just sat there and started streaming, and it blew up. Yes, I do remember. That was the day my life changed. How would your life turn out if all streaming platforms, including LIVIT, disappeared and never came back? Well, for one thing, I'd tell you I'd have a lot more free time. No, I'd be very sad. Though this is definitely something, this is actually a very important question for anyone who grows a business and a career on social media platforms. You need to remember to not put all of your eggs in one basket, because if something like this were to happen and say, you know, you're an Instagrammer, influencer, and Instagram one day just disappeared, where would you be? You need to be able to hold those eggs in multiple different baskets. So while I would be sad, I definitely would be sad. I would really miss the daily, like, one-on-one, like, personal talks with my viewers, but I would make sure, like, I am social media savvy enough, I would be able to redirect that attention and connection and interaction elsewhere. So I would be very sad. I'd be able to swerve. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Yes, this question. Thank you for this one. How are babies made? I actually looked up because I wanted to make sure that I had a scientifically accurate explanation of this, and I didn't want to ignore it. You know, this is an important question. I actually have a list of ways that this happens, so just bear with me. So most of the internet does have a wide consensus that babies do come from Netflix and chill. So careful with your Netflix and chill. Also, depending on the baby that you were looking for, it does seem that you would be able to pick some up at Target. Though you have to know the secret code word to tell the Target employee that you are in fact looking and shopping for a child. Now, back when Chuck E. Cheese was a thing, you could also get them from the Chuck E. Cheese prize box. Or in fact, this is actually the reason that schools have such tight dress code rules for girls. If a boy stares at a woman's shoulder for too long, he actually magically comes home to a child, just like in his bed. That's why women need to cover their shoulders. Moving on. Okay, do you think that being paid to be on the internet is a lifelong job / career that anyone can get? Okay, two things here. One, do I think it is lifelong? I believe that as we go forward in the world, more and more jobs and careers are going to be internet-based, period. Whether that means like the traditional job of being like an influencer, or what everyone's been experiencing of, oh, I used to work in an office and now I'm working at home via my laptop and Zoom. Even that is, your job is basically on the internet now. That is just going to become more and more prevalent. I mean, honestly, if you want to take it to the extreme, look at freaking Ready Player One, which another book and movie that I love. Look at Ready Player One and how like virtual reality created jobs. That is absolutely something I believe is going to happen in the future. I don't think it's going to be the near future, but I do believe that is going to happen. No, this is not a Dreamworld reference, okay? Thank you. So yes, I do believe it is lifelong. Now, whether it is in the way that everyone is doing it, not necessarily, because social media, if you're talking about social media careers, social media is the fastest changing industry. I literally listen to like 3 podcasts a week that just update me on how social media has changed within the last week. So you have to stay on top of it. Now, is it a career that anyone can get? Yes. However, it is going to come easier to some people than others, just like not everyone's going to be a basketball star. Now, you possibly could, like no one's gonna stop you, but it's gonna be a lot harder for someone who's short and not athletically inclined than someone who is taller and like a natural born athlete. Similar things could be said for online careers. Are you good in front of the camera? You don't need to be good in front of the camera, but that definitely helps. Do you naturally understand how to watch and adapt to patterns that you see on the internet and utilize them within your own strategies? Do you know how to take hate comments? Do you know how to understand how to deal with drama and trolls? Because if you don't, it is going to be a very painful and upsetting career. So yes, I do believe it can be lifelong and anyone can get it. But I do think that a lot of people underestimate the power of the internet and the power of social media. Use it for good. Utilize it to lift yourself higher in your own career, whatever career that is. What are some things you would like to see changed or improved in respect to the current field of streaming? Yes, okay, so this is a good one. So right now, streaming definitely is seeing a boom in all of these like smaller, tiny apps, and they're all trying to be the next big thing and like latch on and be the norm. Just like, you know, TikTok was basically seen, it used to be Musical.ly, and then it was kind of just seen as the new Vine, and there were a bunch of apps doing that all at that time before TikTok became popular, and then TikTok popped off and is now a household name and the norm. So basically a bunch of streaming apps are all doing the same thing, and they're trying to become the norm when that happens. Now, the problem with this is that when a new streaming app launches, it offers new creators a base pay on top of whatever they bring in tips in the stream, and that is not sustainable for the entirety of those streamers' careers on that app because it is kind of a loss leader strategy to just try and incentivize those streamers to come to their app. Now, the problem is there are so many new apps popping up all the time that as soon as that base pay ends on that app, those creators are just going to leave and go and join another one. So there's a bit too much of app hopping right now, which is benefiting the creators. The creators should keep doing that. But I do think that the streaming apps need to find a better way to incentivize creators to come to them in a sustainable way where whatever they are promising in the beginning can be sustained throughout that creator's lifetime while using that app. Because otherwise people are just gonna keep app hopping. This one! I don't even know if I can answer this one. How do you keep yourself grounded as a public figure? Honestly, I think the answer to that is by not seeing myself as a public figure. I don't see myself as a public figure. I am a girl who is doing what she likes doing, and I'm a very positive, happy person, and I've happened to get a lot of luck in the things that I have been able to do in my life that have also gained a good amount of attention from people on the interwebs. So I don't see myself as a public figure. I think that is a big part of it. Now I do have to kind of switch hats there sometimes, like recently with how you all saw the whole dream world thing happen and how I had to make that video. I was thinking of coming at that from the stance of a more public figure, in that I saw that my reputation and name and like association with things was kind of potentially threatened with how Dreamworld was panning out, and I saw how that could have resulted in some backlash on me and as a brand, because I do view Smilin Island as a personal brand, but when I'm just like sitting with myself, I don't view myself as a public figure. I think that's the trick, is that yes, you view what you do as a business, you view it as a personal brand, but I am not going to sit here and be like, I'm famous. Like, I don't know, I just don't view myself that way, and I think that is part of what keeps me grounded. But if I am ever feeling like out of touch or lost, I do go back to New Hampshire and spend good quality time with my family in the middle of the woods. It's wonderful. I also surround myself with really fantastic people. Okay, let's keep going. So, top 3 celebrity crushes. My number 1 celebrity crush is Rumi, the Victoria's Secret model. I have such a crush on her. She's beautiful, and I just love her so much. And she and her boyfriend just had a baby after she thought that she was never going to be able to have a baby because she had put her body through so much stress being a supermodel, keeping herself so low body fat percentage her entire life. She thought that that had ruined her fertility, and then she had a baby. So cute. So that's my number 1 celebrity crush. See, this is the thing. I am like not really the type of person to like obsess over any one specific person. Just like how I said when I was growing up, there was never one specific person that I would look up to. It was always a mix of a bunch of people. And I feel like that's kind of how I am, other than Rumi. Rumi has a very special place in my heart. My friends and I do obsess a little bit over Chris Evans, but what's funny is that my last name is Evans and my dad's name is Chris. So my dad is Chris Evans. Moving on. Do you ever plan on starting a family? Yes, not yet. Not yet at all. Oh my God. Honestly, the thought that I was even engaged kind of scares me. Like, I realize I'm just not ready for like weddings or being married yet. And definitely not ready to have children. I don't know how people my age are like married, buying houses, and have children. Like, I'm happy for them because that is entirely their own personal decision. But me projecting onto that, I'm like, no babies, no babies. Thank you very much. I do eventually want to start a family, but it's going to be much longer down the line. All right, another LIVIT question. What are some ways LIVIT can reach more people in the United States to increase usage rates? If they could include a stream recording feature in which it like fully documents your entire stream that you can then access later to repurpose for additional content across different platforms like TikTok and YouTube, the way Twitch does, that would massively increase the quality of content creators that would be attracted to LIVIT, which would then also bring more users because the quality of content would be increased. That's like my number one thing. That's my number one wish list item for LIVIT, is for them to have a full record of your streams that I could then repurpose, because there have been so many hilarious moments that I would have loved to share on TikTok and YouTube, but I can't because I don't have them recorded. To all of the questions about Zach or why Zach and I broke up other than the ring, no, not answering those. Watch the why I ended my engagement video. That is all I have to say. Thank you. Would you rather adopt a kid or get pregnant? Now, while I said I am not ready for this yet, I definitely want to experience pregnancy in my life, because thinking about it just like blows, like you literally create, like I have the power to create a human. Like if you think about that too much, you end up going into full existential dread, but it's like the closest form to actual magic that I have. And I'm so obsessed with fantasy and sci-fi, like, yes, I would like to get pregnant at some point. It also terrifies me because of the number of things that could go wrong. Whether that means I would not be willing to adopt, that's not necessarily true. I mean, who knows? I've also never tried to get pregnant. So it could be that when I try, I'm not able to. I would absolutely adopt. I feel like I can't fully answer that question because I'm just not in that headspace. Okay, who is your BFF? If you know, you know. You know if you are. Does it make you sad when you share a personal life story? I'm assuming that this is in relation to having to share my breakup story. No, I don't think so. I mean, I didn't love that was how it had to come out. I'm not gonna lie, it feels really good now to actually be able to talk about it because it is such a wild story. It is so insane, and I didn't want to tell it before. I didn't feel justified in telling it before. Now I feel very justified in telling the story, so now I feel like I can really, truly, properly, fully tell that wild story. And so I'm not really upset about it. I'm upset it happened. It wasn't great. I didn't love going through it. But I don't hate sharing my life stories. I mean, that's why I think I'm in the position that I am anyway, in that I enjoy sharing pieces of my life with other people. I mean, I do it daily on LIVIT, share pieces of my life with strangers on the internet. Just make sure to not overshare, Aislinn, okay? Stranger danger. But also, I always make sure that I only share bits of my personal life story that I am willing to share. In that moment, I was willing to share my breakup story, but there are other parts of my life that I'm not willing to share, and I'm not going to. One thing you miss and one thing you don't miss about pre-COVID NYC. One thing I don't miss about pre-COVID NYC is men telling me to smile on the street, because how can they tell me to smile when I have a mask on? Don't miss that. One thing I do miss though is just that freedom of like walking around, exploring the city with the life Broadway. Oh my God, theater and the arts, I miss it so much. It's starting to come back, but like there's that soul of New York of just people. And all of the people of New York all have their own story, and you end up, if you go out to a bar or a restaurant or something, you always end up commingling with other groups, or at least I do. That's always how I end up like spending my nights, is meeting new people. And you know, you end up getting to know these wonderful strangers and have a great connection with them for even just a night. You never meet them ever again, but it's just this like commingling of lives that can't really happen right now because there is still kind of that bubble. Very excited to see what happens this summer because I'm very, very much lacking that rich social life. And I'm not even talking about clubs. I'm not even like a club fan. I actually enjoy going to a place where I can have a conversation with someone. And that is it. Those are all of the questions. That was a collection of really good, kind of like unique ones. So thank you. I'm probably gonna do more Q&A videos in the future. So if you have other questions that you would like me to answer, please feel free to comment them. But thank you so much for watching. Now, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe. I cannot believe that we are already past 2K. let's see how quickly we can get to 2.5. And yeah, I just really, really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. Please comment down below for the algorithm and leave a like rating and let me know what else you're looking forward to. I'm pretty sure next week is going to be some throwbacks to when I went to Disney right before the world shut down with COVID. So look forward to those travel vlogs with you guys, and I really appreciate you all. Thank you so much. See you next week, and remember to keep smiling.